The shadow over Brezel. After the fall of Nargothrond and the ruin brought by Glorung, Trim wandered, broken but not defeated. He would not return to Doriath. He would not seek forgiveness. Instead, he fled east and found refuge among the woodmen of Brethil. There, for a time, he tried to live quietly. But Túrin Turambar was not made for quiet lives. He became their captain, their champion, the man who would stand against the shadow creeping from the north. Orcs feared him. His black blade became legend. Yet, even in relative peace, something restless lived inside him. News spread like smoke on the wind. The dragon still lived, and somewhere in the wilds, a woman wandered without memory. Fate had not finished its design. Brethil felt safe. Forest lights filtered gently through the leaves. Laughter could still be heard in halls at night. But Morgoth's curse was not loud. It was patient, and it was drawing the last pieces into place. The woman without a name. She was found near the forest's edge, naked, terrified, and unable to remember who she was. The woodmen took her in. They clothed her. They gave her shelter. When Trim first saw her, something stirred in him. Not recognition, but a strange pull of destiny. She had fled from Glorung. His spell had erased her mind. Her name had been Niënor, but she did not know it. Grin named her Niënor, Maiden of Tears, for sadness seemed woven into her spirit. Even without memory, she trusted him. She clung to him. In her presence, Trin felt something he had not known in years: peace. And for a fleeting season, Morgoth allowed it. The curse did not always strike like lightning. Sometimes it let hope bloom, only to make the fall unbearable.
A fragile
This
happiness.
village is so lively
Brethil
today.
prospered under the protection of Niënor's who were driven
love
back
that.
mercilessly. The people celebrated him openly and without reservation, seeing him not as a curse-laden man, but as a true savior of their people. Niënor's laughter gradually returned to her lips. They walked side by side through the enchanting woods, taking in the beauty around them. She spoke of the joy of children playing and the bright futures that lay ahead. The people who had seen their homeland consumed by war felt a sense of comfort and hope as they heard of future peace and stability. There was love in their union. Together they stood under the shade of the ancient trees, sharing songs and blessings. It was a moment of sweet tranquility that seemed to break the curse that had been weighing heavily on the people of Middle-earth. But the shadow of Morgoth was still long-standing. He had not forgotten the seat upon Thangarodrim where Húrin, the last living member of the Council of Elves, watched intently. There was no end to his waiting, because Glorung, the wise bird with a temperament for danger, was moving again towards the lands of Middle-earth.
The return of the dragon. Smoke billowed and rose towards the north. Villagers were engulfed in flames. Fierce terror spread throughout Brethil's heart. Glorung had returned, vast and menacing, adorned with scales like scorching iron. The inhabitants of the villages clung to each other in panic. Yet, Trin didn't. He had once faced the dragon and experienced immense humiliation. This time, he would not let fear or deception hold him back. He was determined to eliminate the creature. Against the odds, against the consensus, he left Niënor behind and ventured alone towards Cabe Ross, the treacherous Deer's Leap ravine. In that chasm, he devised an ambush. Gurthang, the sword he wielded, felt immensely heavy in his hands. Yet, it was eager and swift. As he prepared for the encounter, he could feel the tension building. The danger was tangible, but he was determined to succeed. The strike fell as Glorung crossed the ravine. Confident and unworried, Trin struck from below. With all his strength, he drove Gurthang upward into the dragon's soft underbelly. Black blood poured like fire. Glorung writhed, crushing trees, shaking the earth. His roar echoed through valleys. But dragons do not die silently. As he lay dying, Glorung used his final strength not to curse Trin, but to speak, and Niënor heard him. Memory restored, drawn by fear and love. Niënor had followed Trin. She reached the ravine as the dragon's life faded. Glorung's eyes found hers, and with a final cruel gift, he lifted the spell. Memory returned like a blade. She remembered Dorlomin, her mother Morlan, her brother, her name, Niënor. She understood everything in an instant. Her marriage, her child within her. The horror was unbearable. She fled screaming toward the edge of the ravine, and before anyone could reach her, she cast herself into the abyss. The silence after. Trin did not see the rapid descent that was about to take place. When he returned, triumphant yet exhausted, he found a state of confusion and weeping. Then he was swiftly enlightened about the truth, that Niënor was indeed Niënor, that he had irrevocably tied oneself to his own sister, that their newborn child would never be allowed to be born. He stood silent, not erupting in a fury, not screaming in protest, just filling in the gaps. The curse had unfolded flawlessly, unintentionally bringing forth darkness and chaos.
The last choice. Trin walked back to where Glorung lay dead. He turned his gaze towards a Glorung that had once been his friend, but was now a danger to all of Middle-earth. His heart turned cold as he spoke to his sword, Gurthang. "Will you join me, take my life swiftly, and rid Middle-earth of me?" And the blade, as legend tells us, answered that it would drink his blood gladly. Even in that moment, fate gave him a choice. He could live in shame, or he could choose to end it all. And so that was the choice that Túrin Turambar, who had named himself the Master of Fate, made. He chose death over living in shame, and he fell upon his sword, taking his own life.
The darkest tale ever told. The tale of the Children of Húrin is not merely tragic. It is relentless. There are no hidden rescues, no last-second salvation, no eagles descending from the sky. Unlike the hope seen in The Lord of the Rings, this story offers no comforting light. It is Tolkien at his most mythic, his most brutal. It asks a terrible question. Can fate be defied? Trin believed so. He changed his name. He fled kingdoms. He fought monsters, but the curse followed, and in the end, the greatest enemy was not the dragon, nor Morgoth, but the shadow within his own heart.